elders dropped Wike for Okowa. CBN makes new plans to fix forex crisis. Akeredolu Malami clash over restructuring. Lagos to demolish 2 high-rise buildings in Ikoyi. Killings over monarch seeks state police. Ekiti governorship poll, INEC distributes sensitive materials, and police deploy 17,000 personnel. Okay, which story are we starting with?
2 high-rise building in Ikoyi. We remember the unfortunate incident that happened with the collapsed story building and the owner being in the building, and so many people in there. So government, based on the recommendations of the panel, is that those structures should come down. And there's another building too of so the 14-story building, the twin 14-story building are coming down. Then there's a 21-story building also coming down. They had done a test of the structures and found them out to be poor, and so they're coming down. And we know that the land in which these buildings were on have also been forfeited to the Lagos state government. So this story really is just to tell us that the engineering firm that will be handling it is called Edge of Design, and it will take 90 days to bring down these buildings, that they're going to do it in a way that will not cause any environmental or health hazards to residents around the area.
Sorry, are they finished buildings?
Oh, yes. High-rise structures on site of 21-story building finished and the 14-story building.
We're going to pull them down. Yeah. Okay, the major...
Sorry, I wanted to take the Attorney General and the Governor of Ondo State clashing at an event in Lagos State. They met at an Attorney General's meeting in Lagos, and both of them were speaking. And the governor of Ondo State, as usual, calling for restructuring, said that, devolution of power in favor of states and councils should be the way to go, and, giving them more power. And Malami, you know him now, in his unrestricted manner, criticized the governor, saying, who are you people to be asking for restructuring when you yourself are usurping the powers of the Judiciary? Of the local government councils? You are not giving them full autonomy to operate, and you are coming here to ask for devolution of powers. But let me quickly just say that, the governor of Ondo, in his usual same stand that he has always had against central police, talked about how it is no longer serving and how it is important now we should restructure that sector and allow states control more of their security within states. And because of what they've suffered recently in Ekiti, you cannot blame him. You cannot blame him.
Yeah. Linking still with that same story, the Olowo of Owo was also reiterating that he was speaking to women that came to meet him, and he said that we must have true federalism, and it is wrong for federal government to be the only one in charge of securing the states, policing the states, and that there should be state policing, the states should take over policing their states because it's closer to the grassroots, especially considering what happened. He is assuring the women that they are likely going to find the culprit, but it's essential for state policing should take place.
Right. Okay, so the major headline, VP slot for the PDP. So the founding fathers have decided to pick the Delta State Governor, Ifeanyi Okowa, as a vice president running mate with Atiku Abubakar. They said, according to the report, they wanted somebody that was less controversial and controllable. And that means, obviously, against Wike. That means it was very specific. They said they needed less controversial and controllable running mate. So they say that the Delta State Governor is a less controversial compared to Wike, who people know has the controversial part that. And the control, like Akwe, Jokosibe, sit down there. Wow. But anyway, they said that we actually looked. They said that we actually looked at his calmness, less controversial political lifestyle, and it's a vibe that he's not coming with baggage. He's calmer, and he can actually be a president. If anything happens to Atiku, he's a potential presidential candidate. And they wanted a situation whereby Atiku and his deputy will be able to work harmoniously. And from the list of potential vice presidential nominees, he was less ambitious. It's not like we can get as in this was a direct anti-Wike kind of thing.
I don't think Wike has been treated
fairly because honestly, I totally agree.
I hold his brief on this.
I think Governor Wike deserves much more accolades than he's given. Yes. I really do think
he's done too much for them.
But the political landscape, they don't want somebody that usurp the power.
Let's move on.
You need somebody strong
too. The punch, I would have loved for Dr. Wike. The Punch.
Okay.
Wike's camp fumes wants PDP as Atiku picks Okowa running mate. Picture here of Ekiti poll, 17,000 policemen, soldiers deployed. INEC moves electoral materials to local governments. Judge dismisses plea. The plea bargain jails man 21 years for killing wife. Hijab crisis, release panels report Muslims tell Kwara government. I dropped my presidential ambition in Southwest interests, says Amosun. Ogun church leaders, abductors reduce ransom to 10 million threatened victims. High inflation fiscal deficit to persist in Nigeria, says IMF. Abuja queues, Buhari approves freight rate increase for fuel transporters. And FG plans 17 airports concession to unbundle the aviation regulations. Okay.
Ekiti State?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So as the elections for the governorship poll is underway, there are about 17,000 police officers that are being deployed to Ekiti State, to cover for election duties. And they said that these 17,000 policemen are not there to cause any harm or intimidate or attack anyone, but they are meant to secure the state and also secure the lives and the rule of law. They said soldiers will also be deployed to, to protect the borders of the community within the state as well, and that VIP police that are attached to VIPs will also be withdrawn in order to show up these numbers for the election. INEC also said that many of the sensitive materials have been taken to Ondo State, to 16 local government areas as we speak, so that as of Saturday, there won't be any issue of lack of materials for the elections. Then Ekiti APC has also said that there's been rumors and stories going around saying that their own primaries had been cancelled or nullified, or their governorship primary had been nullified, but that's a lie, and a lie being peddled by desperate people.
So I wanted to take the Abuja queues. So in response to the queues in the north, in Abuja, in Nasarawa, Niger states, and some other states up north, the president has reviewed according to the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, that on Thursday the president has issued that they should do an upward review of freight rate. That's the cost that is given to petroleum transporters of petroleum products within Nigeria. This is because the transporters are saying the cost of fueling their trucks, which usually uses diesel, has gone up, because diesel has gone to 850 naira per litre. And so because of that cost of increased cost of diesel, they have to then stop carrying products. So they're giving them a review. This cost is supposed to help them take care of that cost of transportation and diesel cost, and then see how the products will be more available up north. But I see this as throwing money at an issue. So we still have some depots operating up north. Can NNPC take over distribution of diesel?
Collect money for it?
No, at a more subsidized rate to directly the transporters, so that at least that will in itself take care of some things, rather than just increasing, that money. Once that money goes up, Nigerian things don't come down.
All right, let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue with our review. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
All right, we're going to start continuing with Punch. Whose story?
Yes. Kidnap that took place around Wasimi, Wekuru local government in Ogun State, where the church was attacked by kidnappers. Two parishioners, one assistant shepherd, and a Sunday school teacher were kidnapped. The ransom at first was 50 million, but now it's been disclosed that they've reduced the ransom to 10 million naira. The shepherd was saying that they've only been able to raise 200,000 naira, and they're still looking for the rest, but they've been told that they will not be released until the entire 10 million naira has been paid. The confirmation was that from the State Commissioner of Police, Larry Bankole, stated that the command was still trying to make inquiries to confirm if they can rescue them unhurt, but so far the stand is pay 10 million naira to get them out.
Okay, so Justice Lagos State High Court, sitting Iftafa had sentenced Daniel Gajo to 21 years for stabbing his 24-year-old wife, Esther, to death. He had initially pled not guilty to involuntary manslaughter back in 2013. He tried to change his plea, which the judge dismissed. Justice Adesonya dismissed, saying that she was not impressed with his new plea bargain, saying that the defendant took his wife's life in her mother's house. I'm not bound by the sentencing agreement and can decide to increase his years. She passed a judgment to ensure that he lived 21 years. He lives 21 years in prison for killing his wife. I mean, I'm so happy because the reason why I took that story is because one of the comments that was said yesterday was the fact that many of our female judges are some of the best amongst the judges that we have. They're the least corrupt amongst. And they've been doing so well. So I'm so happy that this one was able to make a judgment on time. Okay. Moving on now to Daily Sun. Disquiet in PDP over Okowa's choice as Atiko's running mate. President approves new freight rates for petroleum transporters. Presidency Southeast governors, politicians fail Ndigbo, says Ohaneze. Obi Catholic Church disowns Mbaka, vows to sanction him. We've made significant impact on security, economic corruption, says Buhari. 2023, don't set Nigeria on fire. Defense headquarters wants politicians and supporters. And Ezu rival killings, Masob clears Obi wants Simon Ekpa against blackmail. Which story are we taking in Sun?
We have to talk about Obi and Father Mbaka.
Yes, Father Mbaka. Go ahead.
It was a major embarrassment. And the Catholic Church has distanced themselves from
Some of us have no idea what we're talking about, so please tell us.
Let me establish the story. So Father Mbaka, who is the head spiritual director of Adoration Ministry, Enugu, was said to have made a statement. And in the statement, he said that Peter Obi, the current presidential candidate for Labour Party, is a joker and is unworthy of becoming the president of Nigeria. Described the man as a stingy man. And the drama is more when you watch the video because of the way he said it. But the archdiocese, the diocesan bishop, diocesan priest, yes, bishop, most Reverend Callistus V.C. Onoga has said that the Catholic Church distanced themselves from everything that he said. And
they said if God remains on the throne, Obi will never be president of the country. So such insightful, you know, when you are influential, you are holding your pulpit and you know your followers are many, and you know,
you need to be
to
careful.
go at one person like that in this kind of is not
based on the fact that he's stingy.
Well, thanks to Bianca. Did you read Bianca's story?
Yes.
Bianca told us the story that, listen, yes, he's stingy, but listen, he's stingy in a prudent way.
Yes.
And she traveled with him, and he wanted, they saw a $3,900 Ford suit. And he said, that money, you know what I can use that money to? How many children in Nigeria that money can educate? I'd rather buy the $200 suit. But to show her that he has the money, when he was traveling out, he gave out the difference, saying, use it for your foundation. So, I mean,
it's prudent.
That is
There's a difference between stingy and
prudence.
So what's Father Mbaka?
And we're used to people just throwing money around.
He needs holiness to come and descend into our
Okay, another story.
Yes, so the defense headquarters at their bi-weekly media briefing, the Chief of Defense Staff was there, that's General Lucky Irabo, and he says that, first of all, the military would not fold their hands and watch miscreants, political thugs, and unpatriotic politicians set the country on fire during the 2023 polls. He's saying that anyone involved in the electioneering process should conduct themselves properly, and that anyone that's caught misbehaving would have themselves to blame because they would, you know, they would deal with you. And he said that, and if we should look at it, if we set the country on fire, what positions would we have? Where are the people that, you know, would be aspiring to positions for? And he just, you know, he also said that he's just asking for peace during this process. Conduct yourselves properly, but in the cases where you don't, they are right there to make sure they deal with you. And they were asked concerning the Catholic Church attack in Owo, and he says that they are right on it, and we'll hear more about it, but they'll make sure that these people are brought to justice.
So Ohaneze has blamed the political leaders, say that they have failed their people by working against the interests of their people at the convention of the two leading political parties. According to them, all the delegates were influenced by the leaders within the parties to vote against a Southeastern leader. All the advocacy they've been putting together for months towards selecting the Southeastern presidential candidate fell on the face because many of the political leaders within the parties refused. They're the ones that actually failed the Ndigbo people. Okay, moving on now to Vanguard very quickly. PDP, how Okuas upstaged Wike to clinch VP slot. FG raises freight rates for petroleum products. We won't allow repeats of our massacres and Moteco commanders. Naked VGC lovers under drugs slashed their own wrist, says residents chairman. System collapse. Consumers remain in darkness as power is at 3,358 megawatts. 2023, why I stepped down for Tinubu, says Amosun. How 33 passengers crew survived overland aircraft mid-air fire. And Nigerians may arm themselves, according to Akeredolu. Which story do we have in Vanguard?
Can do the update on the couple that were walking naked in VGC. We remember that story. Yeah. So the chairman of the estate was giving an update. He said, first of all, that happened where we saw them walking naked, but it's been confirmed that they had taken drugs called Colorado, and that when we saw them walking, they had asked them to go into the house, get dressed. So they were waiting for them to get dressed. 30 minutes after, they didn't see them, and they walked into their room and realized that they had slit their wrists and wanted to, commit suicide. They were rushed to the hospital, and he insisted that the only reason they took a video of that scenario was just to prove, in case of fatality, have evidence for the police. He says right now they have released this couple. The boy, his parents live in Lekki. He's been released to his parents in Lekki, and his girlfriend as well. They said she's an American. He also says that we should look at them with some mercy and grace. He says these are people that on a regular day, you would never believe that this would happen to them, that they're just normal young kids who have, done something wrong. He says the family is also going through a lot, but from what he heard, the family have put them in some form of therapy, and that we should pray for them. And, well, this is the reality of our times. Many young people are engaged in this, and we need to keep our eyes open and
so I want to talk about the poor funding of the Supreme Court. According to former Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, Justice Walter Onogen, when he was speaking at a public presentation of Nigeria's first law book on construction law, he bemoaned the state of the welfare packages for Supreme Court justices. He said that small time, so the apex courts would just be like, glorified high courts. Because, as we speak, Supreme Court justices still live in rented apartments in parts of the FCT that are suitable areas. Right. That means he said that since 2008, the federal government has not reviewed their salaries, and that even the welfare, he started a welfare scheme as the CJN on the order of the federal government, and that welfare scheme called the Welfare Scheme Report, which his team headed, has been jettisoned. Nothing is being done for Supreme Court justices as a package. And you need the Supreme Court justices to be so independent and strong that, judgments coming from them will be unquestionable or as clean as possible. You don't want them to be biased.
That's what candidate Johnson said yesterday. He said that when they asked, I can't remember who it was in Hong Kong, and how come their justices are not corrupt. He said their justices are the best paid in the world. Because the welfare is as simple as ensuring that they are well taken care of.
Welfare. Even
they have no issues to get
service. He complained about their post-service.
Let me take the story because it's also talking about inefficiency in government. The Nigerian Police Academy is porous. They lack perimeter fencing, and candidates, the commandant of the Nigerian Police Academy, Wudil Kano, AIG Abdurrahman Ahmed, has informed President Muhammadu Buhari that the academy is confronted with myriads of problems, including lack of perimeter fence, which also, and bad road network. They said they don't have enough accommodation. They don't have enough personnel, academic staff to handle the administrative needs, as well as handle administrative needs. They also say that the cadets hostel doesn't have a central sewage system, and also the central sewage system for the staff quarter. This is where we train our police officers. So obviously you can see there's a problem that there is no power, there is desertification, and resulting in destruction of roofs. All these issues where we train police officers.
Judges, our police,
that's why everything like
support services.
These are the structures that hold the country strong. Justice.
We have to wrap up. I think that's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, we discuss a really, really painful situation that happened recently. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.